Muito bem, é isso mesmo, meus amigos do Ponto Pop. Estou aqui com o The Maine, com os meninos do The Maine que estão no Brasil para uma série de shows. Aproveitamos para trocar uma ideia sobre a carreira deles e sobre também o novo disco Lovely Little Lonely. Guys, thank you very much for having me. First of all, several times that you've been here in Brazil, what's the most memorable thing of our country for you guys?
Oh man, this is our 5th time. Yeah, I think the most memorable was the first time we came. It was like getting off the plane and there were people at the airport waiting for us, and it was, I don't know, just kind of overwhelming. We don't really get that kind of feeling anywhere else, so to come here and have that happen was like really, I don't know, special.
Yeah, everyone says that like the myth of the public of South America, not only Brazil but Argentina and Chile. So it's true that the public is really different on stage for you.
I think so. Yeah, every time. I think too, the first time that we heard like one of the chants while we were playing, like in tempo with our song, the woo 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 woo, that was like, what? We're not in on this, and it was like we didn't know what they were doing.
And like this, they sang the guitar parts, the riffs, and everything.
Yeah. For us, that doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, so loud, like louder than the music coming out from us. So it's something definitely caught us off guard.
So it's not a myth, it's true. Yeah. 10 years, 1 decade after the first EP. That's crazy, and how the band changed, how the sound changed. What can you say about this first decade of the Maine? I want to start.
Yeah, I think it feels like it's been a decade, and then it also feels like it's been just a blink. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that it feels fun still, and it feels like we're making our first record every time that we make a record. You know, to me, feels like we're going to be a band for another decade to come. So, I guess we're hoping that it's like just the beginning of a really long journey. So, yeah.
About the references, can you recall the references that you were listening 10 years ago and the references for Lovely Little Lonely right now?
Oh man, 10 years ago, What were we listening to?
What were we wearing?
I mean, all you have to do is look at a picture of us from like 2007, and that'll answer a lot of those questions.
Let's put a picture of the Maine in 2007 right now.
Go ahead and guess. No, don't do that. Well, I think there are some bands that we've been listening to for the entire time we've been a band. We've been really influenced by a lot of 90s stuff. Third Eye Blind was a big one for me, and I think for some of these guys too. And throughout the years, I've kind of kept up with everything they've put out and been a big fan the whole way. So, and then there's stuff that we've gotten into later on. So I think that it's kind of always evolving as we evolve, you know.
It's the same for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of remember like citing like 90s bands when we first started out, and since I think those bands still live inside, so subconsciously they'll creep into what we do. But we started getting more into the past, and we started kind of really embracing like the Stones and Tom Petty on our second record especially. We were just talking about it. Yeah, I don't know, I think we're really inspired by artists and bands that have made a career out of music and not just been a flash in the pan. So that's what we really look up to. Those same artists that kind of refuse to conform and kind of try to make their own way in the midst of, you know, the ever-changing musical landscape. So.
Guys, about the process of your new record, how is it? How do you compose? How do you write music? It's all together. First you bring a riff, a guitar part, and then comes the melody and the lyric. How is it?
But this one, I started all the ideas on the computer in Pro Tools as opposed to just off my phone. So there was a bit more concrete to work off of, and I don't know if it made it hard for these guys to then, you know, try to imagine their vision of, you know, my idea. because there was more than just a vocal and a guitar or a piano. So, but that was the first time that we've done it that way. So I think each time we approach writing a record, it's important to try to change it up a bit from the last, because if not, you'll just kind of end up with the same result. So, you know, there's a lot that we learned with our dynamic on this last record that will apply to the next one, and there's a lot that we won't, that we didn't enjoy. So it's like Pat said, it's important that it's still fresh and that it's still exciting and that it's still hard, and it makes us uncomfortable at times, because I think when that comfort sets in, that's when you just make a photocopy of what you just did last time. So it's important for us to push it, and we're trying.
Nice, but I guess now you are really experienced on stage with those songs. How's the response of the public?
Good, yeah. The new stuff is going over really well, which is always cool. Sometimes it takes a little bit for new songs to get into people's bones, but right away, all the new stuff's gone really well. So, all good things.
Guys, here in Brazil, we have something with the genre emo, something that's really emotive, is always classified as emo, and people tend to classify the Maine as emo. How do you consider your sound? How do you classify your sound? That changed a lot during those years, right?
I mean, it's funny because for me, I guess for us growing up, like emo was, when I was in like early high school, emo was like a bad, it was like a bad word.
Yeah.
It was like a really bad, not really bad, it was just, we got called that a lot.
Yeah.
And it was funny because to me it didn't make any sense. I mean, we were already listening to a pretty good range of music. So
I think yeah, since then people have embraced it in a different way, and it's become a good thing, a thing to stand behind. Like people identify themselves with it. So we've kind of just, you know, we started seeing that a lot with our fans and things like that, and so we kind of embraced it and have run with it.
What did you say, man? It's an emo renaissance.
Yeah, it's the Renaissance, the revival, the emo revival. I feel like we're a goth band and nobody else agrees. So.
Guys, we have some questions from our audience, from your fans. We got a question from a fan that's right on the street right now. So, yeah, wow. It's really true. So, the first question is from Brazil, the Maine, the fan club, I guess. Do you want to expand the 8123 Fest for other countries? It's an idea.
I mean, we've certainly talked about it because we had such a great time with the first one.
I think it's kind of like figuring out whether we do that or if we keep it only in Arizona, and that's kind of what makes it cool, is that people come in from all around the world to be in one place, and it's the place where the band was formed and where all these, you know, things and songs are talked about and stuff. So I think right now we're kind of like trying to decide what that. So if anybody has an opinion on that,
weigh in.
Another question from Brazil, the Maine, from Julia and from Marcela from Brazil, the Maine. Do you want to continue the project of covering other artists?
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, because we can get into a rut where we're only playing our material, so it's kind of hard to expand your musical horizon when all you're playing is what you know and what you wrote. So we definitely, there's like stuff that we've covered and recorded that we haven't released. We've done some Neil Young stuff, and I don't know, I think it's important as players and as, you know, even like a lyricist to try your hand at it and to put our spin on it. So that's what we like to do. We don't like to just take the song and make it sound exactly like the song. We try to kind of put our own spin on it. So we'll definitely continue to explore that, and just probably not Akon or like rap stuff. Maybe, I don't know.
Never say never, right? Yeah. Never say never, because changing the arrangements of classical music and from you, Jan, for example, it's like to inspire yourself.
Totally, yeah. I just think the whole goal of playing covers is to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes and gain a new perspective.
Okay, the last question from our audience, in fact from the guy who's standing on the street right now. The feeling of being on stage and watching those people who came to see your music, to see you, how's that feeling, man?
I think for everybody it's probably different. I think for me it's a sort of like a tunnel vision. It's hard to really appreciate what's going on when you're on stage and in the moment. I think for me, if I ever look back at a live snippet or watch, we filmed a DVD here in Brazil years ago, and I just watched a video from that, and to hear people sing along, it kind of gives you chills. So in the moment, it's like it just kind of goes black, and I just kind of there and really trying to be in the moment. I guess afterwards, I appreciate it a lot more.
And the time must pass is really fast on stage, right?
Yeah, it's really quick. I feel like I didn't even get a good look at the crowd some nights because I'm so preoccupied with what we're doing and like trying to make the show great. And so, like John said, going back after the fact and like, especially having things like the DVD to go and take a look at and remember how awesome it is to get to do what we do every day. So, yeah.
Guys, that's it. Thank you very much
Thank you
for being
very
in Brazil
much.
once again and for this interview.
One, two.